Life on earth is a test whose results determine our fate in the afterlife. Every God-fearing Muslim believes and affirms to the fact that heaven or hell is the reward we get for a life spent on earth. Our world is fast progressing. Technological advancements and luxuries make man believe that if there is heaven, it is here and to be enjoyed on earth. The craze for a careless and carefree living has its hold on Muslims. Muslims and cash-strapped Muslim nations give importance to an opulent lifestyle, reeking of pride and grandeur. The monuments they erect, the lives they live, are all testament to the pride and might of Muslims. In such an age where luxury has become a necessity, there are people who covet worldly comforts as if their very life depended on it, where on the other hand exist people who struggle without the bare minimum necessities. This is the same story with coastal Muslims. One part has happiness spilling out, while the other has sorrow and strife written all over it. Muslims in towns are known for their forwardness in terms of economy, education, and social life. Health, education, and standard facilities make life colorful for many town-dwelling Muslims. The color fades as we move out of the town. Muslims living in villages lead a hellish existence as opposed to their wealthy counterparts. Their tears are in stark contrast to the outward show of gaiety, an insult to the world of wealthy Muslims. "25% of Muslims dwelling in the city get 75% of basic facilities and infrastructure known to man. In contrast, the remaining 75% of poor Muslims living in the villages get hardly 10% of even the basic amenities and infrastructure required for a decent living. The contrast is appalling. Muslims living in villages eke out a living rolling beedies and doing strenuous manual labor. Their lives are a series of ups and downs, never assured of a stable tomorrow.
ಕೈಕಾಲು ಬಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವಲೆ ಮೋಣು ಬಸ ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೀವನ ಕಲ್ಚೋ ಇನ್ನ ಇಪ್ಪ ಬಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ನೈಕು ಆರು ಒಂದು ತೆಲುಗು ತಂದು ಬಂದು ಬಿಡ್ಚಿಟ್ಟು ఒకసారి ఆరియా ఇంకొన్నాళ్ళు పిన్న ఉండా పిన్న ఆరగైనాలే వైనాలే బిడి కట్టిటావు.
Here children and women suffer silently with no hopes for the future.
ಎಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂದ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪಂಚೊಂದೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬೇಗಣತ್ತಾರೆ ಎಂದ್ರ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲವೇ ಪೈಚನೆ ಚಿಟ್ಟಿದೆಕ್ಕು ಇನ್ನೆಂಗ ತಿನ್ನೋಡು.
அப்ப பண்ணல
மண்ணில் விட்டு போய்
Here, many lives have shattered, many foundations have shaken. Their only hope for security lies in God, their only salvation. The shadows across the thinly stretched cloth speak of a woman's life of inward turmoil, seeking solace in the cool running water. Children here desire an education that will take care of their future, but they lack the facilities to make them realize their dream. Help is forthcoming, but not evenly distributed.
10ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ போயிட்டுள்ள நான் படிக்கிறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் ஆயிട്ടുണ്ട് இது ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವತ್ತು ಚಿಮಿನಿಲಿ ತೆಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಟು ಓದಿ ಉಂಟುಲ್ಲ.
The flame burns bright, but there is no guarantee that it will last. They hold on to this hope that the flame will never die, as will their dreams and hopes for a better future. Socially and economically forward Muslims compromise on Islamic principles, yet have no problems going as per the dictates of the modern world. Muslim youth have an affinity towards modern celebrity-driven culture that prevails in today's world. While on one hand, there is a lot that is being done for community development and empowerment, on the other hand, there are still cries for help. From the time we wake up to the time we sleep, we can only think about ourselves, our life, our families, and our jobs. We have no time to cast a thought for our poorer counterparts. We laud other communities for their efforts in social and community development, but never spare a thought for the development of our own community. No thought has been spared for the organization of funds and infrastructure required for development. Our only thought is how to make more money out of the business establishments we have erected. As we run after money, we conveniently forget those in need. What we need is an organized effort, a proper collaboration, and a single-minded dedication to develop our community. Zakat is the most important pillar of Islam, which unfortunately is not distributed properly, thereby contributing to the widespread poverty. Muslim businessmen do not default when paying government-directed income and sales taxes, but God-directed zakat is sorely ignored. Everything is done with self-benefits in mind. Namaz, Roza and Hajj are duly followed, but zakat, being a benefit for others, is ignored. There are thousands of families badly in need of zakat, but wealthy Muslims have not heeded to this fact. There are people whose conditions worsen by the day. What is the solution for this? Why don't we spare a thought towards this? Muslims spend crores of rupees on welfare and community development, but it hasn't been utilized properly. When it comes to own businesses, Muslims have proper planning and administration in place, but in service for the community, there is nothing.
ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕ ಇನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಮಾಪ್ಲೇನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಇಂದ ಚೆನ್ನ ನನ್ನ ಕಿಡಾಗು ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಬಾರಿ ಜೋರು ಸರ್ಲಂಟೆ ಸಾಲೆ పోయి ಕಿಡಾಗು ನನ್ನ ಮಾಪ್ಲೆ ಪಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಚೆನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನಿಂದ ಅಕ್ಕಡೆ ಮೆಣಸಿಂತು ಬೇರೆ ಮರಂದ ಹಾಕಿಡು ಉಂಟು പിന്നെ ಬೆಳ್ತಂಗಡಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ಟು ಮರಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ನೆ ನಾನು ಕಡ ಹಾಕಿಟ್ಟು ಬಾಣ ಸಿಟಿಯ ದಂಡೆ ಅಂತು.
the actual plight of this section of society through well-delivered speeches and conventions, but by going over and into a real-life scenario. For families like these, for women who have no support and security, for children without hopes and dreams, the Hidayah Foundation acts as a beacon of hope, and as part of its rehabilitation plan, has already started a community colony. As part of the overall development plan, Hidayah Foundation aims to give each of these families a comfortable home along with basic facilities like food, clothing, healthcare and education, including religious knowledge. Our mission in life is child and women empowerment. Keeping this in mind, the Hidayah Foundation is working towards this ambitious project. This project includes hundreds of houses, masjids, Arabic madrasas, tailoring centers, computer centers, women and children counseling centers, daycare and healthcare centers. Every child that blossoms here is molded into a pillar of support for the community in future. Islam preaches the need for charity. It is only in giving that we will receive in abundance. Salvation or Jannat are for them that give more than they get. What Islam calls haram, Muslims made it halal. This is one of the main reasons for our disintegration as a community. Let us set aside a little time for the less fortunate among us, a little time away from the grandeur, the glamour, the glitz, a time to ponder on the complexities of life that many of us are forced to live, a time to introspect on a life we waste on mindless parties and celebrations while the rest of us weep. For our time on earth is limited, and what we do now determines our reward in heaven. Finally, all that will remain of us are our virtues that will be interred with our bones. We will return to the ground from whence we have sprung. Let it not be a life lived in vain, but instead a journey that inspires the rest of us to make this God-given world a better place to live in.